sports fans. ASMR Sports here. Apologies for the background noise. It is, as I've mentioned, full on like heating season, it seems. Although it's funny because it's not really like that cold. I mean, it's probably like 40 to 45 degrees. There's 40 degrees out right now. Maybe it's a little bit cooler than that, but you know, not too long. It'll be like 20 below out. So he's got to work overtime in that case. Anyways, alright, hope everybody's doing well. I got a couple things on tap for today. First, I want to just thank everybody who's placed orders at hotcardboard.com. I really appreciate it. I've sold, I think, like maybe 10 or so of those 24, really 23 variety packs of 2020 baseball. So thank you for those who've ordered. I've got everything shipped out at this point. I generally have been shipping stuff the day it gets ordered, so hopefully I can keep that up. If you haven't got one of those variety boxes and you want one, please do order. There are some available still. I got about, actually more than half of them left, so I'd love to get rid of them. Alright, today I'm gonna do two things. One is I want to show you guys something that I've got here. This is a large flat rate box of like, I don't know which one, it's actually junk wax era is what I'd call it, of junk wax era boxes, and that's a product that I've got, I'm going to have up on the website by the time I post this video. If you want to get a whole bunch of really cheap wax boxes in one fell swoop, that's your stuff right there. And then the other thing I want to do is get to these guys. Somebody was mentioning the Decision 2020 cards, I guess, that I think are out somewhere. And recall that I had done these 2016 election cards back a while ago. Yeah, it wasn't 2016 when I did these, obviously, because I didn't have this channel then. But I was remembering that I had a bunch of those and left, and I thought it'd be fun to do it since, you know, everybody who's in that set is sort of still a player. Alright, so I'm going to start with, and I'm chewing some gum, I'm going to start with this box here and show you everything that's in it. It's so big, it's like kind of hard, for God's sakes. Alright, I gotta bend the flaps. Okay, so first thing you see is this guy, which is a nice fresh box of 88 Donruss. I'm not going to open any of the cards in this stuff today, just because I have like 5 of these boxes I'm trying to get rid of. I'd love to get rid of them because I've had them prepped for a while and just haven't gotten around to getting them up for sale, but they take a bit of space. So this is 88 Donruss. I have opened some of that in the past. You will recall if you were a longtime viewer. Next up is this guy. Box of 92 Pinnacle Baseball Series 2. I'm not exactly sure who is in this in terms of like rookies. But I landed a bunch of those in a lot of junk wax boxes that I bought some years ago. I've still got them sitting around, so I thought I'd throw them in here. Alright, next box is 1990 Score Baseball. This is kind of I don't know, this is one of my favorites because at one point this stuff was like really valuable. You know, there are a few decent rookies in here, including my main man Bernie Williams, center fielder for the Yankees for a lot of the 90s. Anyways, I guess the big card to get in here, there's Frank Thomas rookies in here, but the big card is that black and white Bo Jackson card where he's like got his football pads on, he's got a baseball bat over his shoulders. It's a really cool card. back in the day, that thing was like super hot. It was selling for $20 or so. And yeah, you know, at one point the 90s Score baseball stuff was pretty valuable. You know, it came out like after the dud of an 89 Score product, and you know, not a lot of people got very excited about it. And you know, 90 Donruss was just sort of 90 Score was sitting on the shelves for a while. But then people realized it was not as overproduced as the 88 and 89 stuff. At least that was the perception. And then there was the Bo Jackson card and a few other cards that were hot, like in the early 90s. And that stuff sort of heated up. Alright, so the fourth box in here is this bad boy. This is a 1990 Donruss. I've opened some of this relatively recently too. You know, there's Sammy Sosa rookie cards in here, maybe a few other things. And there was just a ton of like errors and variations in this set that, you know, may or may not be in a particular box depending on when it was printed. There was a lot of this stuff made though. A lot of this stuff out there. Alright, oh, and then the last box, which is the centerpiece of this thing, is this guy. 1991 Upper Deck Baseball, and this has a possibility of getting the 1991 baseball rookie card of Michael Jordan, which is an SP in here. I don't know like how rare it is. It's not like super rare. It, you know, maybe like one every box or one every 2 or 3 boxes, something like that. So you know, it's an SP certainly, but it's not like impossible to get by any stretch. This box also has the so I guess this looks like it's a high series, and I'm not sure if all of the 91 Upper Decks I have in these boxes are high series or not, but they're 91 Upper Deck of some form or another. And then this one has Find the Hank, so there are autographed Hank Aaron cards in this product. They are very tough, very hard to get, but kind of cool to give a try for. And then in each one of these boxes, I've put kind of a selection of trying to fish them out here. A selection of individual wax packs. So I'll show you what's in here. These will vary from, you know, box to box. So what you get may be a little bit different. I've tried to kind of keep them somewhat consistent. So like I've got these are the Miswrap 1988 Topps cards that I've probably opened some on this channel. I bought like a big monster box of these at one point, like many years ago. They're kind of cool. I actually have not seen these around much since then. These are all legit though. They're definitely factory sealed. This one's kind of beat up there, or not really beat up, but scrunched. I mean, so there's like, I think, what have I got here? 5. So I've got 10. So 10 of these 88 packs I think are in every box. And then I think 3 89 Topps wax packs are in every box. And I think 1 87 Topps is in every box. I can't remember if I put these archives in every box. So yeah, the rest of this I think might vary quite a bit from box to box, but it might have some significant similarity, overlap too. So there you go. So these boxes are going to be $89.99 for everything. Whoa. So if you're like me and you kind of enjoy that older vintage / junk era wax stuff, that's the product for you. And I'm kind of hoping if you order one these. It's like all you order, because then I can just stick a label on the, the box that I've got these in and ship it off to you. And if you get 2 of them, I can do that twice, I guess. But if you get like one of these boxes and you get like, something else, like, I don't know, another box of cards, and I gotta probably get a bigger box and put the party mail box inside of that along with your other card, which isn't great. So if you can avoid that, great. If you can't, I'll figure it out, but I thought I'd mention it. Alright, let's get into these Decision 2016 cards. So, as I say, I opened these, like, I don't know, 2018 maybe. Got them on the cheap from, like, probably Dave and Adams. I used to buy, like, exclusively from those guys, all my, like, just miscellaneous boxes and stuff that I use for this show. So yeah, it's pretty weird. It's like politician cards. So there's Ted Cruz from Texas. Let's just talk about Ted Cruz for a minute. All right, so if you watch this show, you may have a sense of my political leanings, although I often try to be very neutral, but I'm not sure I'll be completely neutral in this one. Ted Cruz, if, it's funny, Ted Cruz, he went to Harvard Law School, and, he's been around for a fair while, but he has just the weirdest way of speaking. It's like, I kind of feel like him and like a few other politicians, they just speak like some weird, like affectation, almost like they're like a, I don't know, like a newscaster or something, speaks in a certain way that, like, it just is different than, like, the average person would ever sound. And like, he just has a weird way of speaking that if you ever heard him speak, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just like, is this guy for real? Like, who is like that? Like, does he just like sound totally different in real life? So anyways, that's Ted Cruz. Rand Paul, libertarian. Strangely, he's a pretty big Trump supporter, even though I feel like the libertarian kind of philosophy doesn't jibe all that well with what Trump is doing, which is more just sort of classical, conservative Republican, times 10. So I always found Rand Paul to be a strange bedfellow of Donald Trump, but Rand Paul was, interestingly, if you don't know, got into a fight with his neighbor and ended up in the hospital. I feel like he had like a collapsed lung or something. I think his neighbor must have body slammed him or something. And he was in the hospital for like a couple weeks, I think. And eventually, did fine. I feel like I read something about the lawsuit over that, or like the criminal case. Because his neighbor was convicted for assault or whatever. But I don't know, I thought that was pretty hilarious. Like a politician get into a fist fight with his neighbor. Oh man, I forget where he's from. Is it Kentucky? Yeah, Kentucky. Only in Kentucky. I think it was like Bowling Green, where he lives. And I remember like the dispute was about their lawns or something. I think Rand Paul was like blowing his leaves over to the neighbor's property or something. Alright, Liz Warren. Well, there you go. She was obviously a big name in the 2020 primaries. She was considered to be like one of the more progressive candidates for the Democratic nominee. I will say all these cards are like really well centered, so bravo to let's see who makes these. Look at that Decision 2016 trading cards. Like there's a company that just does this one product. Weird. Well, they did good. I mean, these are not horrible looking cards. They all have really good borders. Okay, Liz Warren. So yeah, she was a professor at Harvard Law School until she was elected to the Senate back in, when was that? 2013. And yeah, she lives in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is where I lived for 15 years. Never bumped into her. Rick. This is not Rick Santorum. That's hilarious. I kind of remember them making like a stupid mistake like this before. He's Rick. Look at this. We've got an error. This is Rick Perry, but it says Rick Santorum. Rick Santorum is like another, I think, former senator, Republican. But this is Rick Perry, and he was one of the guys running for the nomination in 2016, and famously forgot like which of the federal agencies he was going to, or one of the federal agencies he was going to eliminate. He said he'd like eliminate like 5 agencies, and then started to name them, and then got like 4 in, and forgot. Oh my God! Sorry, that was freaking hilarious, but not as hilarious as them putting Rick Santorum on Rick Perry's card. All right, Harry Reid. Boy, is he still alive? I remember he had like a terminal cancer, I believe, like relatively recently, maybe in the last like year. I think he still is alive, but kind of interesting. So he was like the like majority leader of the Senate, I think, during Obama's time when he had a Democratic-controlled Senate, and then he became the minority leader when they lost that majority. And he's from Utah, so that's kind of interesting. You don't see a lot of Democrats out of Utah. So Nancy Pelosi, every conservative's like most hated politician for some reason. I don't really get the disdain for Nancy Pelosi by conservatives. You know, I mean, I guess the Republican Party definitely like just starts to, you know, they like to have a, you know, kind of a head figure to go after, you know, in their rhetoric. And if it wasn't Nancy Pelosi, it would be whoever probably else was the Speaker of the House. But I don't know. I mean, I've actually talked to, you know, some folks who support Trump and asked, you know, kind of what does it boil down to for them, their support of Trump. And they've told me that, you know, what they like about Trump above all else is that he riles up Nancy Pelosi. And I guess they're really bothered by Nancy Pelosi, and I think it's just kind of, it's like, well, what do you think about, well, why do you hate Nancy Pelosi so much, right? And, you know, I think that some of them might have answers if they follow politics. I think others, they just, like, they don't really necessarily know the exact reasons. They just believe that they, you know, that she's sort of the epitome of everything that they think they disagree about with the Democrats. But I actually think that a lot of people in politics, or that, you know, a lot of like average people's view in politics is really not, you know, very deep. It's not like they've studied policy issues of and figured out both the Democrat and the Republican side of things, and they just really have this fundamental moral like attachment to one side or the other. It's just that, like, you know, they have a sense that the other side is bad, and if Nancy Pelosi is the leader of the one side, then they're gonna really dislike her, and to some degree, I think that happens on the other side. But I will say, I think that's much more likely to happen because on the other side, because Fox News is just more watched than like Democratic or sort of liberal-leaning news media. I think people who are Democrats and liberals tend to get their news from a more variety of sources, and Republicans tend to get their news from like a smaller number of sources and rely on those sources very heavily. So if the voices on those sources say that Nancy Pelosi is bad, and they maybe go into lots of reasons why they think that, but nobody really is going to remember all those reasons. They just remember that Nancy Pelosi is bad. Ooh, what did I get? Oh man, I thought maybe there's a backwards card. All right, there's Tom Kean. It's not Tom Kean, it's Tim Kaine. I'm pretty sure. He was the that's funny how they influence you, Center for Former Chairman of the DNC. Is this Tom Kean? God, I thought, isn't Tim Kaine? It's funny how it's all fading from memory now, but isn't Tim Kaine the guy? Gosh, I think it's him. Who was the frickin' vice president nominee for Hillary Clinton? I'm gonna have to leave that out and see what come back. All right, Libby Pataki, spouses. Former First Lady of New York, so George Pataki, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's funny, I don't remember her being all that relevant to 2016, but maybe I'm missing some. Decision 2016 debate moments. There you got Jeb Bush, Ted Cruz, and Donald Trump waving them all off. Yeah, I could say a lot about that. There's Dr. Ben Carson. Former surgeon, now secretary of housing and urban development or something. That makes zero sense whatsoever. Except he was one of the guys I think that dropped out relatively early in the game and endorsed Trump. So Trump kind of owed him a solid. Rand Paul again. And oh, look at that, Future Stars. I didn't know they did Future Stars and rookies in this set. Love it. Cory Booker. Cory Booker, I like Cory Booker as a person. I just think his story famously is that he actually lives in subsidized. I don't know what it is. It's not subsidized, but it's basically he lives in a neighborhood in New Jersey, in the city where he's at. Probably Newark, New Jersey. He lives in just an apartment building there that's not super fancy. It's in kind of a bad part of town. So that's what I read, anyways. Is that right? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it is. But man, he's dating somebody who's a famous actress. I can't remember who it was, but I remember being kind of impressed when I heard it. By the way, I saw a comment recently on my videos that told me to talk less. So they're gonna hate this one. I don't know what that's about. Oh, I don't know what I gotta. Jeb Bush. It's too boring, I can't talk about him. Bernie Sanders, there you go. There's kind of the runner-up to the nominee in 2016 and 2020. Lindsey Graham. It's funny, Lindsey Graham is, I saw just the other day he had his first debate with his opponent. I forget his name. Oh crap, what's his, Jamie somebody? Is it Jamie Harrison? But he's got an opponent in North Carolina, a Democratic opponent who's actually polling pretty much dead even, or maybe even a little ahead some days with him. So he's got a real tight race. Lindsey Graham is one of the people that's been sort of front and center in the issue of the nomination of a Supreme Court justice, because Lindsey Graham famously went on the offensive when Barack Obama had a opportunity to nominate somebody, and that was when he nominated Judge Merrick Garland, and the Republicans had control of the Senate, and Lindsey Graham famously defended the decision of Mitch McConnell to not even vote on whether Merrick Garland should be approved, and Lindsey Graham basically said, if a president is in their last term, or the last year of their term, and a nomination comes up, then Congress should wait until the coming election before voting on anybody. And he actually said, "You can use my words against me." So yeah, he basically flip-flopped when the situation reversed and there was a Republican president nominating somebody in his last year. In fact, in the last months of his term, and he does not seem to have much compunction about it. So I don't know. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give you guys politics masterclass right now, because I've sort of followed the issue here. We got DJT coming up. So let me try to give a summary and then go into the weeds with you. If any of you are super psyched about politics, hopefully you'll get some value or entertainment out of this anyways. But all right, so there is a seat that is up right now in the Supreme Court from the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and of course when Barack Obama was president in his final year, and Antonin Scalia passed away and his seat was to be filled. So Barack Obama nominated somebody, and that was Merrick Garland, and the majority leader of the Senate, which has the job of voting on nominees for the Supreme Court, Mitch McConnell, he was the leader then and is the leader now. He said they weren't going to vote on Merrick Garland. A lot of Democrats thought that was ridiculous and really unfair, because it has never been the case that a Republican president and a Democratic Congress, or a Democratic president and a Republican Congress, have led to a stalemate where they can't even, the president can't even appoint justices to the Supreme Court, because he doesn't have his party doesn't have control of the Senate. So what Mitch McConnell did was essentially unprecedented. He said, we're not even going to vote on it, we're going to wait until the next election, which was later that year in 2016. And a lot of the Republicans that were trying to justify that decision to not even vote on a nominee for the Supreme Court were doing so by saying, well, it's the last year, and it's the last year of Obama's presidency, or of his term, and it's close enough to the election, we should just wait. And it was 9 months away, the election, at that point. So it's okay, that's their reasoning, that's why they're saying they should deviate from basically several hundred years of history of having this vote anyways, and then choose on the other foot. We have the exact same situation. Actually, we have the exact same situation times 100, because the election is much closer in 2020 than it was in 2016, when the same situation happened with the shoes on the other foot. But so the rationale that the Republicans gave for why they shouldn't vote on a nominee to the Supreme Court, was basically proven to be sort of nonsense. However, what we want to be the rule for nominations for the Supreme Court in the final year is if the president's party has control of Senate, we'll do it. If the president's party does not have control of Senate, they won't do it. And again, that would break from hundreds of years of precedent. That's never really been the case, right? It's never been that if the Senate is the Democrat and the president is Republican, then the president just would not be able to appoint or have an appointment to the Supreme Court, like deliberated and voted on by the Senate, right? That's never really happened. So the Republicans want to change the rule, and that's their right. They can change the rule, right? And so they did. Future stars, Mike Pence. All right, so the Republicans, they want to change the rule, but they didn't really want to say they wanted to change the rule. They just wanted to sort of try to justify their actions. And now we're showing that that justification isn't really what they believed. And that's fine. They can do that. It creates a bit of a mess, though, because oftentimes there will be situations where there is, the Senate, the party that has control of the Senate is not the party that has the presidency. And if you create a situation, as I think the Republicans have just done, where basically that means no judges, no Supreme Court judges at least. Theoretically, this could apply to all federal judges, which would be insanity. But they're basically, creating a rule where there's just a lot of stalemate. And then if you finally do have a situation where you have the same party in the Senate and the presidency, you're gonna try to have to get as many judges through as you can, and that's in fact what the Republicans have been doing during Trump's presidency. But I just my concern is with this essential what is essentially a change in the rules that apply. It just means there's going to be years where we go a long time without having, or maybe even decades, right? Theoretically, where if we don't have the same party in the Senate and the White House, we can't approve Supreme Court justices. So we might go long periods of time with 8 justices or whatever. And furthermore, it gives the Democrats incentive to do something like court packing, which is where for a long time there have been 9 justices of the Supreme Court. However, there's no constitutional requirement that there be 9 or any particular number. So the Senate, if it were under Democratic control, can say, okay, well, we're just basically rolling with what the Republicans did and saying that we can do whatever we want with the Supreme Court while we have power to do that. And so one of the things we're going to do is I don't know who the heck Kelly Ayotte is. So the Democrats can say, well, okay, we're going to say that there are now 13 judges to the Supreme Court. We're going to have the president, if that's a Democrat, nominate 4 more judges, and we're going to vote on them. And if they have majority, then they will get them all appointed. Then there will be 13 judges that will be a majority Democrat or liberal or whatever you call them, justices. And then if there's an election in 2024 and maybe there's a Republican president again, but the Senate stays Democratic if it goes Democratic in 2020. In that case, the Republicans can't appoint anybody if they don't have control of the Senate. So I just think this whole thing, gives too much power to the Senate. I mean, back in the old days, it was common. And when I say the old days, I mean before 2016. It was common to have a situation where you had a president of one party and a Senate majority of another party, and the Senate majority just kind of swallowed, their, feelings, and if they didn't have like major issues, like found crimes or something, that the proposed justice had committed, like they were going to prove them. And there's really only one exception to that, and you guys may have heard of the name Robert Bork, but he was a guy who was from back in like the 80s, I think, was nominated by a Republican president, and he did not get approved by the Senate. He had some like controversial, like, I don't know what it was, but like sort of fringe views at the time anyways. By the way, I apologize if any of you are experts in like politics and these kinds of things, and I'm like mansplaining, but I suspect a lot of people are not up in this stuff, so I'm trying to kind of make it basic. Chris Christie has been diagnosed with COVID-19. He was around Trump a lot in the time when he was presumably like infected. In like the 80s and before, in the 90s, oftentimes a nominee for Supreme Court got a lot of votes, not a lot of votes, from Senate members of the other party, because the view of the Senate at that time was that their job is not to vote no on a candidate or an appointment, just because just because they're a member of the other party, right? They had to do something pretty like wonky to get a no vote, even from somebody from the other party. And if you look at like the votes for basically everybody like appointed before Obama, you'll see that like they get like 70% or more of the vote. I'm not talking about all the cards because I'm going off on this Supreme Court thing. As you can tell, I think a lot about it. But if any of you guys are, poli-sci majors or working in politics in Washington right now, and you have something valuable to add, feel free to do so in the comments, and I might address it in my next video. I guess this is kind of a preview of what would happen if I did ASMR politics, which some people I think are pretty excited about, but I'm sure others are like, what the hell would I want to listen to that crap for? That's not relaxing. Who's Columba Bush? Let's find out. Oh, Jeb Bush's wife. I forgot it was his spouse's card. Mitt Romney is now senator. Bernie Sanders. Heidi Cruz. Is that Ted Cruz's wife? Yeah. That's funny. She's actually not, she's pretty attractive. And I remember there was like a huge dust up in 2016 because like Trump was basically like making like negative comments about her. I don't know exactly what he said, but and then Ted Cruz ends up like basically that's another thing that like really gets me about Ted Cruz and just the Republicans in general, at least in this 2016 cycle, was like Ted Cruz was just, then he was shit talking Trump, and then all of a sudden he's like endorsing the guy. It's like, man, come on, it's fine. You gotta talk shit about your wife. You can, send to the doghouse. But I don't know. Ted Cruz didn't want to do that. Yeah, so Donald Trump and his wife His eyes look really red there. I don't know if he was smoking up. And of course there's, lots of news coverage about what is his condition. Nobody seems to know for sure. He's coming back on. Bobby Jindal, boy, you don't hear much about Bobby Jindal anymore. He was kind of a Republican darling there for a minute. I don't know if he's still the governor of Louisiana or doing other things. Kristen Gillibrand was running for the 2020 nomination for a fair while. She's a New York senator from New York. Oh man, John McAfee, what is he doing? So this is the John McAfee is the McAfee, antivirus software CEO. Libertarian Party. He's got it. You just look up his Wikipedia. He's got a lot of interesting things going on in his life. Jim Webb, Chris Kobach, Lincoln Chevy. Man, I want an autograph. I wonder what I would be so psyched if I got an autograph, you guys. I could get an autograph of anybody. If I've heard of them, it would be like the best thing ever. If I got a Ronald Reagan autograph. Sticker, of course. Al Franken. Minnesotan. John Kerry. Wow, Reince Priebus. It's been a while since I heard of that guy. He was like the chief of staff for Trump for like a while, and he was like the head of the RNC for before then. Man, I feel like it's been 50 years since I heard of that guy, but he was a major player in the Trump White House for like a year, I think. The bags don't even say. I should go on eBay. You guys should go on eBay and see search for Decision 2016 autograph and see if they made any. Oh, look at this. It's like an insert. Trump under fire. It's got like a gold. It's got a gold foil Trump. Trump says he could shoot and not lose voters. Trump under fire. Trump under fire is a tough 17. This is freaking hilarious, but boy, this is like the first I've seen of these. They gotta be rare. I got an SP, guys. I got a Trump under fire. Ooh, big deal, big deal. All right, last pack. That's funny because we have not been seeing like really. Well, I don't know. I guess the other like sort of all black cards are these portraits, candidates' portraits. But like other than that, we haven't really been seeing a lot of subset cards, so I'm kind of like shocked. Yeah, so it's like we got two of those portrait cards, and then these spouse cards. But this is like something special because it's like thicker stock, and it's got gold foil, and it's numbered to 17. So there's at least 17 of these cards. I'm surprised we haven't gotten more of those. I like them though. I like subset cards in this product. Gotta do something to shake it up. I mean, give me something. Give me something to work with Decision 2020. Alright, Pat McCrory, Future Stars, not heard of him. Martin O'Malley. Deval Patrick, former governor of Massachusetts. Scott Walker, former governor of Wisconsin. Elijah Cummings, I believe has he passed away? Or am I thinking of his colleague? Oh man, I forget his colleague's name, but there was another. I think he's in the. Is this guy in the House? Nope. Oh, yep, Maryland. Mitch McConnell. Well, there you have it, folks. This has turned into a longer video, which I know a lot of people like, so hopefully that's good. I hope I didn't bore anybody out of their brains with the politician stuff. I thought it would be interesting to do that, given we're so close to an election right now. But we'll be back to sports card content next time. Thanks so much, and do check out hotcardboard.com and order up some sports cards for yourself, hot off the presses. I'll get those boxes I showed at the beginning of the video, and they'll be available for purchase. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks for all your support and for checking out Hot Cardboard. We will see you all next time. Have a great one. Bye.